It's that segment where we look at the stories that made it to the front page of select national newspapers this morning. We'll begin as usual with the Daily Trust, which is the damn best designed newspaper in 2024. The major story on the front page of Daily Trust this morning reads, tax reform bills, reps want contentious sections expunged, seek clarity on conflicts with constitutional provisions, oppose inheritance tax, propose VAT reduction. You find the details of this on page 4. We have pictures there of what looks like a protest of residents of Angwang Ate in Kacha local government area protesting against the attack and kidnapping in Kaduna State yesterday. Two other stories, the bottom strip, 50% tariff hike, Labour threatens telecoms marks shutdown. Wow. Lassa fever kills 12 in Ondo. Court adjourns Professor Yusuf's bail ruling to February 27th. 124 journalists killed in 2024. That's according to the CPJ. This profession is becoming an endangered profession, it appears. Bandit adopt 16 burn houses, crops in Kaduna community. And 49 years on, Murtala legacies still visible. Egypt's president may shun talks with Trump over Gaza. That's one issue that will not go away anytime soon. Those are the major stories on the front page of the Daily Trust.
All right, now let's take a look at Nigerian Tribune, which has boldly tax reform bills survive in reps, scales second reading. Lawmakers back NGF's position on VAT sharing formula, 50% equity, 20% population, 30% derivation. Call for stiff penalties for tax evaders airing public funds managers, kick against issuance of exemption order to boost revenue generation and back existence of TEDFund, Neseni and NITDA. We also have still on the Nigerian Tribune, PDP NWC confirms Ude Okoye as National Secretary, transmits name to INEC. Senate scraps special fund account for Regional Development Commissions, NYSC. And IBEDC reconnects UCH. Finally, Catholic bishops denounce resurgence of herdsmen attack in Southwest, attacks governors on security, and how Jupe Berkhout, who lives for books, writers died in his Ibadan home. All right, those are the stories we have on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Do want to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed.
The Punch newspaper is next. Tinubu's re-election, ACF orders tackle Ganduje over no vacancy comment. Babachir hits at North's consensus candidate as ACF Mohammed counter APC chair. Tariff hike, Labour subscribers plan telcos shutdown. To other stories, Abia PDP chapter defies National Working Committee order. Otom Anyanwu face panel, March 4th. Rep summons customs CG over officers' retirement. This retirement thing is now beginning to spill to every agency, from the police to customs and I think Nigerian immigration. Hoodlums in courts for adopting policeman in Ondo. And APC hires private firm for membership e-registration. Well, I hope it's something they can achieve across platforms. We see there the picture of Tony Olumelu Foundation partnering the UAE entity to empower I think about 600 or 1,000 young entrepreneurs in Africa.
Yeah. All right, now moving on to Guardian. Boldly on Guardian, importers divert cargo to Togo and others to evade tariff hike. You find that on page 6. Group laments over 5,000 Nigerians stranded in Iraq and 124 journalists killed in 2024. Israel mostly responsible, says the CPJ. Still on Guardian, businesses, homes count losses as National Grid collapses again. And revert to old tariff before March or face total strike, NLC tells government in telecom operations. Edo Election Tribunal, PDP alleges conflicting testimonies, APC to present 28 witnesses. Tinubu meets Google, wants Nigeria to drive Africa's AI evolution. Kano uncovers multiple illegal private financial accounts. And on tax reform bills advance amid pushback on phasing out key agencies.
All right, those are the papers we'll be looking at this morning. We have joining us in the studio as always the editor-in-chief of Dateline newspaper, Maale Nasru Lawa.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you join us again.
Good morning.
I'm tempted to look at so many issues this morning, but I want to start on a patriotic note to talk about the 124 journalists that were killed in 2024. It could have been any of us in this practice. The call of duty can take you anywhere. And as we say in unionism, coming up in school, they say an injury to one is an injury. How appalling do you think this number is year on year?
Well, actually, I don't think this is even representative of the actual number of journalists that were killed. Probably they are talking about the reported ones, because you have so many journalists operating at, the local level that don't make it to the news. Something may happen to them, and you may never get to hear that because probably the medium they represent, or they are not big names, so to say. But it also shows the hazard, associated with the work that journalists do, which is a very important one. And it is actually because of the importance that you see people remaining, in the practice. Because if it's something that the society can do without, probably, we'll all line up behind another means of, sustenance, not necessarily journalism. But like you said, these numbers that are out there, it could have been any one of us. And the attitude of the government and even the security agents to things that have to do with journalists, honestly, I think they need to have like a change of heart, because sometimes when you report things that, the authorities, the police, the security agents are happy about, they tend to get to see you as a friend. But once you do the opposite, they come after you with all sorts of threats. Sometimes the phone calls that you hear, people talking about that I've been threatened, I've been, mostly they come from, the security agencies, because that's their own way of telling you to, like watch your back, because what you are doing is counter to the interest that they want to advance.
All right. We see the story of the tax reform bills and what is happening. What's your take on, where the reps are coming from and how far this is going?
Well, since the adoption, of consensus position by the governors, I know, will come to this, because it's exactly what the members of the House of Reps are talking about. Do away with all the things that the governors and other sections of the society are not happy about. And it's actually the reason why the bills are even delaying, because without all these pushbacks, we would have had, a smooth sailing. Because, Nigeria, already they are talking about the lawmakers themselves, talking about the need to support the president with his reform, agenda, so that the nation can benefit from them. But I also expect them to, harp on the fact that the government also needs to like disabuse the mind of the people, to know that this money that will be coming to us, these are the things that will be putting them to use, rather than just, continuing with the profligacy, expensive lifestyles that we cannot even afford, and things like that. Because that's basically the problem that Nigerians are having with the tax issue. You are expected to pay money, but then you don't get any service in return. And if we're able to get, all the services, then probably it may be worth it to part with some of the things that you earn legitimately to be able to have this.
Trump has been a talking point across all of the continents of the world. It's reverberating even to the Greenland, where there are not much people living there. This time, at the center of contention is his rather audacious proposition about the Gaza Strip, and how he conveniently talks about this thing as if it's an extension of the American soil. You do this, you move away from here, we bring this, and all that. We are seeing some very strong pushback from the Arab League, led by Egypt, which is also refusing to even hold talks along that line. at all. What does this signal for you as far as these propositions are concerned? Is he just trying to test the waters about how far-reaching his presidency can be, or are there any iota of solution, in fact, in some of the propositions that he had put forward?
Well, certainly not from the way he has been acting since, taking the oath of office, as the President of the United States. And only God knows the number of disruptions we are likely to have, before the end of Trump's second tenure. But, when it comes to Gaza, it also shows the contradiction, with the thinking of the President of the United States of America, because here you are talking about the need to chase out illegal immigrants, to get them back to their countries of origin. And then here you are also proposing, asking some other countries to accept, people that are not their citizens, because you think that's your own solution to the problem of Palestine. Honestly, just like the Arab League is showing, when it even comes to, things that have to do with Gaza, what you see the Arab leaders doing is actually like on a lesser, significance to what their people are actually talking about. Because the people, when it comes to their own, opinion, they want like their leaders to face this thing head on. But, being diplomat and what have you, looking at the greater picture, probably one or two things may happen if the United States of America decide to do one or two things. It will have like a multiplier effect on their country. So they are also looking, but if they are to go with what their citizens want, honestly, this will be dead on arrival. There is no way this proposition or some of these propositions can even function.
All right, let's look at this importers diverting their cargoes to Togo and others to evade tariff hike. We know that Guardian did well to bring an infograph. Beyond this, we know that there were lots of payments being made just to clear a container. And we saw the supposed 4% FOB levy that was put out and later taken back. What does this mean?
Well, it means, they know their way that these goods will still arrive in Nigeria, without even Nigeria getting the money that they are supposed to get from it. Because when you see like the level of importation rising in our neighboring countries, if you look at their population, in relation to the population of Nigeria, you will know that certainly these goods are meant for Nigeria, and they will find a way of coming into Nigeria, despite the fact that we have security agents, including the Nigeria Customs Service, the immigration, even the military in some of the entry points. These goods will still find their way of coming into Nigeria. So rather than push people away from our own terminals, I think it's better we, find a way of, attracting them, even if it is, offering them fair, good deals. Because if they end up with, like the report is saying, with their goods in Togo and still, finding their way to Nigeria, then what sense does it make?
All right. The ACF, another group, have come for the jugular of Ganduje over that statement about the tenure of the president settled as far as he's concerned in 2027. This is 2025. Is it too early for us to be distracted with this conversation around whether or not the tenure of this presidency is a foregone conclusion?
Well, ordinarily, it should have been too early, but, this is Nigeria, and looking at what the things that happened in the past, when you fail to start early in Nigeria, you may end up at,
second failure.
Yeah, so that's basically what Ganduje is trying to say. He's trying to say things that the president will be happy about, the things that the president will feel, okay, I have, chance and what have you. And all the pushback you are seeing from ACF and, others, it's to be expected, because right now, we don't even know the candidate that is likely to come from the opposition, even within the ruling party. We don't know. Probably before 2026, when the election is going to take, I think, will start in earnest, I don't think the president will be the only candidate. And if we are to respect, democracy, then you can never rule out any individual, because things may happen that may necessitate, change of mind, even that the president may find uncomfortable.
All right, I hope something in my head is saying, I hope we can see something akin to what we saw in the United States, where the president was in the running and somewhere along the line he said for greater good. I just hope that we get to that level in Nigeria someday. But that's the much that time would allow us to accommodate. I want to thank you very much for always finding time to be here, and for the quality analysis that you bring to our newspaper review every time you make it to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and to you at home, I hope we have brought you value with the quality of the human resource that have graced our studios today. I hope you are able to do something with some of those analyses, make decisions that improve your life, improve the life of your family, improve your security situation, and that of your family. And until we come your way again, I am Sunday Michael Ogu, and do have a great day ahead.
And I am Lilian Ogazi. Thank you so much to everyone who called in to contribute on the show. We'll see you again same time tomorrow. Do have a great day ahead.